Are there some people in your life that you don't really know on a personal level, but you have some maybe regular social interactions with them? And at times when you're really going through something and you don't know who else to talk to, you just end up opening up and receiving some interesting advice that you might or might not take. Well, I've got a story, an actual story to share with you guys today that is something I came up with based on a unique premise, but I think that inside this story, there's some stuff that will really bless you. Also, I use this as an opportunity to tell one of my favorite jokes. So, saddle up, let's get into the soil of this experience. We're going to have a great time today. Welcome to you, my friend. I am D. Grant Smith, the growth farmer for personal development through the lens of spirituality and storytelling. Well, today we're going to focus on the storytelling side of personal development. And I've got a really cool and fun original story that I wrote probably about a month ago that I want to share with you to bring you some inspiration and also a new perspective. If you'd like to get more from me, including some awesome short fiction novels that will really bring you to a new place of enlightenment and inspiration and show you your own story through a different lens, visit my site, growthfarming.com, and go under the stories section. You'll find a bunch of awesome stuff there. And I've got all kinds of great things all over the site that will really bless you and bring you into a deeper understanding of yourself, your relationship with God, your relationship with others, and it'll just be a blessing to your life. So, once again, growthfarming.com. So, what I have to share with you for today is a short story that I wrote once again a couple months ago. And it's a way for us to look at the power of unexpected advice and what it is that we choose to do with it. All right. And there is a little bit of a humorous twist here. And when it's over, I would love to hear your comments and your thoughts about it. You can leave those down in the comments below. If you haven't done so already, please give this video a thumbs up and share it when you get to the end. This will be something that will bless you as well as entertain you. So here we go. The title of this story is A Day in the Life of a Bartender and the Stakes of Advice. They came in from all walks of life every evening and stayed until a little after midnight, just after the last call. He'd seen and talked with so many different types of people, like doctors, lawyers, statesmen, politicians, pro and amateur athletes, aspiring and successful musicians, and actors. Their stories were captivating, but they were all searching for something intangible and seemingly hard to attain. A few ounces, or more, of liquid courage and liquored peace made the seemingly impossible dreams more easily attainable. It's like everyone needs some kind of sign that everything will work out okay, and that happiness and success are not ethereal realities, but tangible experiences, even if only for a moment. As patrons began coming in after 6 p.m., the bartender prepared himself for another evening of work and festivities. The butcher from down the street came in, complaining of a painful sensation he was feeling in his lower back. When the bartender asked about his posture and flexibility, the man shrugged and said, "That only matters when you're younger." The bartender then showed him a short stretching exercise to relieve the tension. The butcher tried it on the spot and said that he did feel better, and then ordered another drink. He added an extra $10 bill as a tip. A newly published author sat down at the bar with a mix of excitement and nervousness. After a long trip to the library to submit his latest novel for edition to the library's catalog, he saw a hardback book on display with a near identical cover design. The author was not concerned with potential copyright or intellectual property infringement. He just wanted his book to be accepted. The bartender suggested that he have conversations with people about their reading interests and suggest they give his book a read if their reading list fit his title, and then mentioned that they can buy it online or request it at the library. A twinkle appeared in the author's eye. What a great idea! The author thanked him, ordered another beer, and plopped a crisp $10 bill down for the tip. A school teacher was the next to sit down at the bar. She had a bewildered look on her face. The school teacher asked if it was possible to get amnesia from food because she had eaten a slice of pot roast and couldn't remember anything that happened the day before. This surprised the bartender for a moment. Then he asked her if she wanted to hear a joke. Sure, she replied with a shrug of the shoulders. The bartender pointed up above his head to what looked like a piece of beef dangling from the ceiling. He commented that the owners of the bar really know how to decorate. She chuckled. He said that it was an abuse of interior design, even if this was a restaurant. She chuckled again. Then the school teacher asked, why is there a piece of beef and a few other pieces of beef next to it hanging from the ceiling? The bartender replied that if someone jumps up and manages to touch the steaks hanging from the ceiling and touch all of them, that all of their drinks would be free for the entire night. But if they try and miss, they have to buy drinks for everyone in the bar all night long. Want to give it a try? The bartender asked the school teacher. She thought about it for a second, then replied, no thanks. The stakes are too high. Good, the bartender replied with joyful excitement. Last weekend, you tried and failed. Looks like your memory works after all. And that's the end of the story. So, really, to be honest with you, I wrote this entire story just so I can include that stakes are too high joke, which is one of my favorite jokes. But inside the story, at least from my perspective, there is another way for us to look at the nature of conversations that we can have with people, and sometimes the opportunity to be able to talk about things that we are having a hard time with, but we don't really know how to explain or really articulate, and seemingly how we can get advice from people who know a thing or two about stuff that we don't know, or at least present to us a different perspective and a different way of looking at things. And that's certainly what the bartender does. I heard a friend of mine say several years ago that bartenders do way more than serve drinks. In a lot of ways, they serve as counselors and therapists for people who come in. And part of the reason they're there is to take their mind off things. Part of the reason that they're there is to completely disassociate or distract themselves from some of the problems in their life. And in doing so, end up talking about that a lot and end up, in a way, asking for advice from somebody that maybe from some sort of clinical perspective doesn't have all of the criteria to give advice, but they've seen and heard enough stories of people from those that sit down at the bar and talk about things that they've, as well as their own life experience, that they have something that they can share that ends up being a blessing to people. And so, my encouragement to you today is to think about some of the folks that you have regular interactions with, and especially think about folks that you have asked for some sort of advice from, or that you have talked about some problem or some difficulty or some struggle or challenge that maybe you weren't aware of it at the time, but really inside you were asking for help, and see what kind of advice or next steps or encouragement that you were given from this person. Then ask yourself if it was something that you actually put into practice. And if you did, and it helped you, make a conscious choice to go give this person some praise, some acknowledgement, and some thanks, because some people are full of advice for everything under the sun, and sometimes people think that they're experts on everything when they really don't know a whole lot about much. But other times there are people that when they speak up and they say something that you might consider doing, it's coming from a place of love and it's coming from a place of empathy. And it's just a friendly suggestion on something that you might give a try to. So, with that in mind, be appreciative of the people who are speaking life into your life and who are possibly offering some suggestions for you to take a different look at the way that you are viewing any sort of situation, see things from a different perspective, and also maybe try out something new to improve your life. From myself to you, my friend, that is my encouragement and my hope for you today. If you got anything from this video, even from the story or from the joke, or if you have a suggested joke that you would like me to know, please leave it in the comments below. Uh, Actually, I'm going to just leave the invitation open. If you have a joke that you want to share with me and maybe make a challenge for me to incorporate that into some sort of story, please drop the joke in the comments below. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a wonderful, beautiful rest of the day. I believe in you, I love you, and I'll see you again soon.